Ranting Ron here. I want to talk about evolution. So I'm a Christian and I'm a creation guy, and I'm going to go through Khan Academy academies. I'm a bit. I'm going to be very. I'm going to be just. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. Today, though, I'm going to be pretty facetious, sarcastic, bitter, angry, aggro. Just so you know, just warning. I'm just in that mood or whatever. That's, which is usually my mood, but I try to tone it down. But I think I'm probably going to go a little goofy today. Anyway, I'm achy. I did the Murph yesterday. I'm really, happy Memorial Day. It was nice to see my stepdad, who was in the Vietnam War. Okay, so evidence for evolution, Khan economy, can economy, teaching kids, luring them away from God, evolution. I'm going to go through these and just ridiculous. Okay, so key points. They're going to now. So this is obviously Khan economy. This is the bare bones essentials of why evolution is true. Now, I'm not going to convert you atheists. This is not a video about converting you atheists. This is more about a video for Christians who are confused, who are being told evolution is a fact and true, total BS. But of course, we Christians and atheists like to play with each other and just go after each other. So whatever. Key points: anatomy, molecular biology, biogeography, fossils, direct observation. Okay, so whatever. So one thing that ticks me off is that they always say, oh, there's macroevolution and microevolution. So there's the large scale, kinds chasing over extended time periods. Well, evolution claims that things evolve over millions of years. Then they claim that things evolve. They have that theory too, that they have things evolve quickly. I forgot the name of it, but whatever. And then they have evidence now, or then they have evidence, of course, in the fossil record that things don't evolve at all. So the evolution theory says things evolve over millions of years, which no one's ever seen in a million years, or 10 million years. Then they have the in the same theory, things evolve quickly. They got the jump evolution. They see that we observe variation in kinds, but they see, and quickly. But so they claim that now, and they also claim that some things just don't evolve at all. They stay exactly how they are. And so that's their theory. Quickly, slowly, not at all. That's some BS right there. You cannot have a theory like that. That's not a theory. You have to destroy the theory, start over. But they won't, because it's a religion. It's a religion they have to stick to, cling to deny God his existence. Okay? They have to do that. And it's the only two games in town: creation science and evolution. And evolution's a joke. But the delusion, the mass delusion. I have a liberal friend who says, "Oh, tens of thousands of people cannot lie," and I said, "Oh, yes, they can. 1 million people can accept a lie. 1 billion Chinese can accept that communism is their way of life. They can accept that. Millions of people can accept a lie. Absolutely. I don't care if you call yourself an expert or not. I don't believe you. I will never believe an expert again. I've had so many experts wrong concerning my health, concerning other things. All right, here's my thing. Underground parking lots is proof that experts are just you and me, other guys trying to design something, trying to figure something out. But are you superior than anyone else? No. Can a grandma come in and give better advice on the underground parking? Absolutely. Because every underground parking place has dirty parking cones. Those cones, because they've had to redirect or fix the multi-million-dollar design and over design and committee based underground parking area. They've had to reset up cones, right? Because whatever was done there initially doesn't work. The only one I say that it worked pretty good was the at the Grove here in Hollywood, the farmers market at the Grove. That one was pretty good. I'll say okay, but one out of however many. Anyway, and they do have cones outside directing people. Okay. Whatever. Okay, so macroevolution, microevolution. So evolution does not get microevolution. They don't get it. It's already been It's already been claimed by creation science. We get that. You don't get it. You don't get to add our theory into yours, especially when you say your theory is correct and theirs and creation science is wrong. Creation science has declared microevolution, variations in kinds, 1800 BC in the Bible. Boom! It's right there. It's written solid right there. It's been in the Bible for 3,500 years. Genesis 30, Jacob breeds different sheep. He's mad at the stepdad or the father-in-law, and he breeds different sheep. He separates them out. He does some weird technique with rods, separating and getting them to eat certain things or whatever. But he breeds different sheep. Okay, he has strong sheep, weak sheep, and even in the Bible, it constantly claims with the animal sacrifices to get the perfect ones, not the other ones. The runts, the variations. So the Bible, boom, says it right there. There's going to be variations within the kinds. They're still sheep, and that's fact. We've seen that. Farmers know this. I'm into koi right now in the ponds. I got goldfish and all that. All of them come from the carp in Japan. So we all know the incredible variation. Dogs. The reason evolutionists do not use goldfish or koi or dogs or cows to prove their point is because every one of us would look at that and say, bullshit. Bullshit, that's a cow. As many variations of cows they're going to show as they see it's evolving, or dogs, let's say dogs. What if they put the skull, I've been meaning to do a graph of this, but what if they put the skull of a wolf, a German shepherd, a bulldog, and a chihuahua and lined them up and said, yeah, this is evolving. See? That's what they're doing with fossils. They're just lining up these skulls that look like, and remember, fossils are not bones, they're not actual DNA, except for dinosaurs, because dinosaurs are really big. And anyway, the fossils are fossilized, mineralized shapes left by the bones. They've decayed over time. Anyway, so I'm going off on all this stuff because I love it all. But evolutionists don't get microevolution. And creation scientists, Kant Hovind, all the people that like doing debates with the evolutionists, tell them you don't get that. You don't get microevolution. We already have that one. That's already part of creation science. That's been a part of creation science for 3,500 years. So you don't get it. And if you do get it, you have to say, oh yeah, well we have to accept that creation science has declared it 3,500 years ago. Creation science is about looking at the hypothesis, the scientific claims in the Bible, and then going out and seeking evidence for them. That's what science is about anyway. Coming up with an idea and then looking for evidence for it. Well, when the Bible says there's variation in kinds, we got to look for evidence for it. What do you know? Yep. In evolution is the only thing evolving in evolution is the theory. Okay, so I do have a theory about evolution. I believe in evolution. I believe that the theory of evolution is theory of evolving theories or whatever. I want to get that wording right, but I don't care. The only thing evolving evolution is hindsight. It constantly acts like it's so smart when all it's doing is hindsight. All it's doing is Monday morning quarterbacking. All it's doing is looking at the stuff and saying, well, we got to fit this into evolution, so we got to come up with some crap. All right, so the anatomy and embryology. I don't even know why he brings up Darwin. Darwin the racist. Darwin believes that blacks and Africans are close to apes. I mean, it's right here in his books, for crying out loud. He believed that the white race was the superior race, just like Nietzsche did and just like the Nazis. Okay, so whatever. He doesn't. New species over many generations. Yeah, well, whatever. Okay, so I'm just going to go this homologous thing here. We know that so they're saying that because all these different creatures have the same bone, the same types of structures, that they obviously evolved because they're changing throughout time, but still using the same stuff, still having the same genetic information. Well, that's just total BS, because we see these type of structures in all the different kinds of mammals, all the different kinds of land creatures. We see it in reptiles. We see it in whatever needs to walk has very similar types of limbs. Well, that's the same creator. The same creator is using the same. He knows we're all in the same world, using the same things, and we see these same things in the different types of kinds that need it. And another thing is, I want to go on to this. How do these tiny little cells, if this were random, I want to use the hip joints. I'm going to stand up real quick. We can't see my hip joints over my gut, but my camera. But think about how does the symmetry. How does I'm just like freaked out. You evolutionists with your randomness. How do the millions and trillions of little cells that grow out know? How does it know to create this jaw on each side with a hinge? How do these trillions of little cells know? Oh yeah, I gotta grow out. Oh no, you grow out. And form together this structure that's a jaw. And it's a piece of bone that's completely separate from the rest of the flesh, right? This bone is removable. It's on a hinge and the hinge is ligaments connected. How do those cells know to web themselves to connect this jaw? And the jaw has so many purposes. I mean, it's for chewing, the movement. It's for talking, right? It's for breathing. How does the jaw know all of these things that it needs to do? I mean, that help it form. And of course, the brain uses the jaw. How does the jaw know it's in service to the brain, and it's active? I mean, how does any part of did the brain grow the jaw? Did I, in my soul, my body, my choice, did I grow this jaw? And then it's got teeth on top, and these teeth are different. They're coming out of the flesh. They're coming, and these gums. The gums are a completely different type of skin than this skin. And I got this man. I'm a man. It's totally different than a woman. What the heck? Why am I growing this? I gotta look at the lip. It's a different skin, and it's right around the mouth. How is this random? How do you look at this? How do you look at life? How do you look at my hand? The knuckles are offset. Because if they were right aligned together, they would wear out faster. They're offset so that they fit in and snug, and they're stronger that way. And I got hinges going on here. Look at that. The tendon is pulling this. How do the cells randomly know to do this? That's what you're claiming. You're claiming these trillions of cells just randomly formed. I'm symmetrical. What? That's random to you? My hip joints, by the way, if they were off by a little, I would be so deformed and in pain and suffering. You know, the weight of it and the cushioning and the strength and the hinges and the ball joint. They're symmetrical to each other, and they're like a foot apart, completely separate areas, and they're both working with weight, my fat weight. How is that random to you? How do you think that is random? I'm in shock that you think that, and that that thousands of scientists are pushing this lie. How is this random? How is the joy and the wonder of hands random? Man, God made this for us. Our bodies, our physical forms. One other one, the knee joint, the kneecap. I learned this because I freaking got an injury. I popped the ACL. That's an amazing little rubber band that keeps my leg steady. How the heck does cells know to form? And remember, when you pop that, you cannot get it. It won't heal itself. You have to go get surgery, which I did. So you've got a rubber band in your leg that when you stand, when your leg goes this way backwards, it holds it steady. It's a rubber band about like that. Now during an injury, it pops. Okay, so it cannot come back to heal because it's too far away from each other. I mean, that formed when you were little. So in surgery, they have to create a false string in there so that it'll reconnect and ligaments will re-strengthen and grow again. And you can live without it. But I did not like it. Whenever I did squats or whatever, I was fine. But when I relaxed, my leg would, I'm like, oh my God, it felt freaky, like I was going to pop it. That one rubber band thing in there. How do you think that was how do you think these teeny little cells decided, oh, I'm going to find the other teeny little cells, and there's millions of little cells, and they just, and remember, each cell is more complicated than a city. Each cell in our body is more complicated than a city. Each cell in our body is more complicated than a city. The city of traffic lights and streets and buildings and alarm systems, and each cell. I'm trying to get this across to you, and that's random to you. You believe that each cell is random, and then these trillions of cells forming an ACL in your knee, the kneecap, is random. That a kneecap, by the way, if you lost your kneecap or you remove that, and it's a separate bone floating over your joint. I'll disappear. You have the two leg bones or whatever, or you have three, but whatever. But so this is your leg, right? This is your leg, your knee bending. You have a kneecap on top there. Okay? That kneecap is a separate floating bone. Guess what? It gives you 40% more strength. Where did that come from? Random? Are you serious? Well, a bone chip broke off and formed, and I mean, come on. That kneecap, because of the pivoting and the point of where it's at and the ligaments, and I got that same knee busted again. I do medieval armor combat. I got that same knee busted again on the side. The side ligaments tore, but they re-healed because they were still strands there, and they re-knitted each other. Why didn't it just re-knit on my whole body or something? It just re-knitted where it was. It re-healed itself. That's random to you. To evolution, that is random. Man, it's just like, it is shocking to me that evolution, you believe this. You believe that this is just you believe that these cells don't know what they're doing. They're not instructed to do something. You believe, because instructions requires intelligence. Everything out there about evolution, or about you claiming things evolve based on their environment, right? How do the cells know there's weather or rocks or extreme weathers or changes? Well, over millions of years. Well, but things evolve quickly, remember? Some things evolve quickly. Some things evolve slowly. Some things don't evolve at all. What the hell are you talking about? Well, it's the randomness. There's not enough random time for this. That's why you guys created multiverses, which is hilarious. I'm just, obviously I'm in my mood. Vestigial legs on boa constrictor. That's another proof you guys have. Khan has. Khan can be the smartest guy in the world, but he's got no wisdom. So these things are claimed to be legs. They're not legs. Does that look like a leg to you? The little spike right there? That thing clutches the female so they can mate. Just like that. Very effective tool. Very simple. That's all he needs. Does that look like it was a leg at one point? Really? Does it look like it was really a leg at one point? My goodness. And that bone is floating on muscle. It's not even, not even a hip joint there. Okay, so here's another thing. So they claim, oh, look, the birds go white and the foxes go white in the snow and the bears go white, or the polar bear goes white. And so they're saying, well, there's an understanding of the environment changes, convergent evolution. See, you guys have to do this whole hindsight thing to figure this out. Because God gives us enough variation that when we go into a certain environment, and they've seen this like in minnows and little things, they'll change according to their environment. Fish can actually adjust to the salts in the water. So you got freshwater fish, you got marine fish. But if you go slowly over time, you can actually adjust it. I've saw articles on this where you can actually adjust. If you go slowly over time, you can actually make a freshwater into a salt water and vice versa. So we have. Anyway, this is like ridiculous. Just I don't know what to say about this. This is like, this is the creation to me. I mean, this is just evolution's got to do their whole little mamba thing. They got to do their little gymnastics to keep making up crap. You can't keep making up crap, but evolution does. Whereas creation's like, well, God created kinds and they're to spread out across the earth and And Jacob breeded stronger sheep and weaker sheep. So these animals are going to have plenty of variation to live in the different areas. They're going to have that information in their genetics, in the code, genetic code. It's a code. It's a freaking code. Same molecular biology. I'm really getting tired. Same genetic material, DNA. First off, the DNA is like a big mess. Here's the thing. What we're discovering is that the DNA is such a mess in there, according to us. Why, though? Why do we say it's a mess? Because we, in our imperfect brains, we need everything to be organized to find it. That's why we have a Dewey Decimal System or whatever, or the library thing. We need to organize things in order to find it. We need to alphabetize them. God doesn't need to do that. That, they discovered that too. I think it was an article I read about Amazon. I don't know if it's Amazon or what, but they had those bots that did the whole, when you order something from Amazon, the bots will go into the big warehouse, pick it out, bring it, package it, whatever, get it delivered. What they've discovered is that the bots did not, when they replace things or move things around, it was all chaotic. And then they realized, and they were like, "What?" They thought that they did like an AI thing where they thought that, let the bots do it. They thought they would put him, why aren't they organized? Because they're robots. The robots should be organized. The bots didn't care. They just started placing things like in the closest bins or whatever, and everything became so chaotic in the warehouse. But then they realized the bots didn't care because they could just, they knew where to find it. They would go through their program, find it, do their search, and find where it is and go get it. So the bots didn't care where it was. They don't need it organized. And what I'm saying is God doesn't need to organize the DNA. He knows where everything is automatically. So he doesn't need to organize it alphabetically or anything. And that's what they're finding in the DNA code. And so the evolutionists claiming, oh, look, everything's so random in the DNA code. Thusly, it must be a evolution randomness. God doesn't need to alphabetize it. Also, the genetic code is all over the place, right? Broccoli has more chromosomes than we do. There's like chromosomes all over the place. As far as, what has what. The same basic process of gene expression. Well, because God created it all. What I don't understand, what pisses me off about evolution is, why isn't there a non-DNA living thing out there? Why randomly? Why can't you guys, and every time that they say they've created life to prove that it can happen without God or without God, they always bring up RNA or DNA. They always bring up DNA. Well, why DNA? Why not just crystallines or glass or gaseous beings or electrical beings? Why do you always have to use little strands of RNA or DNA, and then you butcher them like Frankenstein? Your little molecular Frankenstein thing, and then bring it over here and then attach it to something else and claim, aha, we made life. Total BS. Total lies. They're lying to you. They constantly throw out these articles to lie to you, to get you to believe, to jump on their bandwagon, and then later on someone comes along and goes, well, that was just you just took a virus and manipulated it. That was all you did. But they don't want to tell you that follow-up article. So all of this suggests a common ancestor. Well, that's a load of crap, because one, they can't prove that, and two, this confirms creation. If God created everything, then what we would see is that everything would have similarities, like on the unseen things, which is God says His evidence is in the unseen things. In the unseen things, we see DNA. We see a code written for everything, following what the Bible declared. Life can only come from life. Kind can only produce their own kinds. That's all we see. That's all we observe. And when they tell you life comes from non-life, that's a lie. And when they tell you kinds make other kinds, that's a lie. It is. It's a lie. Homologous genes. Yeah, well, whatever. Anyway, that's just what I said. Here. Chimpanzees and humans have about 98% identical. No, they don't. No, it's getting lower and lower. And just so you know, I heard this from a creation science biology person or whatever, genetic person, what they do is they just look for pieces that are identical. And if they find a little bit off, they don't care. They just count that as well. They look so it's not like a big strand that they say is identical. They find little pieces in the strands that are identical and claim theirs 98% or whatever number. And it's going lower and lower now. It's like, I think I've even read 75% or 80%. But even if it was just 10% difference, which I know, I'm pretty sure it's down to 10% at least. That's death. There's not enough time to change, even in their millions of years. If my DNA changed like 1%, I would die. It would be such a shock to see. There would be so many mutations and cancers. I would be dead. I would probably explode, because you cannot change the genetics in someone that drastically. It got, one little genetic change in me is gonna give me cancer, or something's gonna deform. And 1% of that is like millions and millions of changes, by the way. And we humans and chimpanzees are the same because, well, we got similar structures, sure, but even then, their genetics is ridiculous. Like I said, they're picking out little sections of it. They're not doing like the law. Like, why don't you just do this whole strand and see, is that identical? No. Well, there's difference here, difference here, difference here. Okay, well, then that's not. Then you can't count that. And besides, they're only looking at a little bit of the DNA. They haven't done the whole thing. They just want to do that. Just want to biogeography. Okay, so this thing is interesting about the marsupials in South Asia, Australia. The different kinds all have the same what's it called, the pouch or whatever. So to me, evolution again has to, oh my gosh, we have to think up of a new thing to decide biogeography. So they have to come up with a new thing, and this whole plate tectonics, whatever, I don't know, but they have to think up. See, that's what evolution does. These creatures here in Australia don't work for evolution because there's totally different things evolving with the same pouch sac. That's not, evolution does not claim that. They're all separate creatures then coming up with the same pouch, but yet with different branches from whatever they evolved from. And even the platypus, they don't want to talk about, because the platypus has a duck bill, has venom like a reptile, lays eggs, it has features from mammal, reptile, and bird, and whatever else, all in one. Is that the common ancestor then? They don't want to talk about that either. Just drives me nuts. God can do this. I mean, God can do this, but there's obviously a scientific thing to figure out why those creatures in South Asia have pouches and not the rest of the world. So and even in creation science. So saying God did it that's not even what we in creation science want either. We don't want to. We know God did it, but we want to know how He did it. Just like evolutionists say, they don't say God did it, but they say super bang millions of years ago. That's the same thing as a God, because you can't prove those things. You can't. The other thing they say is over time, which over what are you talking about? Millions of years. Well, have you seen a million years? I haven't seen a million years. Has anyone? Can you put 1 million years in a test and then prove something? Just anywhere in that test. Just put 1 million years. Can you now prove anything in that test? Anything. To prove the evidence is what you say the evidence is. You can't. I'm going so long because that's just how I am. Fossil record is false. It's fossils. It's not a record. It doesn't say anything. You and I interpret what we want out of it. By the way, these layers over time, we've never seen layers over time. All we've seen is erosion. Erosion. All right, aside from the erosion because it's been exposed, does any of these look like they have erosion in them? Like, see this layer right here? Is there a river in there? Is there a mountain in there? Is there a valley in there? Is there erosion in this layer? No, there isn't, because this was laid down by global flood. This was not laid down over 10,000 years. This right here, this layer is probably 10,000 years, they claim. Because remember, this has got to be like a million years or 10 million years. So what the hell? Have you ever seen limestone being laid down anywhere in the world for 10,000 years? Not 100,000, not a million, just 10,000. Okay, just 5,000 years. Have you seen limestone being laid down consistently? No erosion, no rivers going through it, no puddles, no backyard drain system. Just limestone being laid down across an entire state. Have you seen that anywhere? That's what evolution is telling you. Evolution is telling you that limestone or whatever stone, sandstone, whatever, is being laid down right now everywhere in New Mexico or in California, and pretty soon we'll all be fossilized in it. That's what it's telling you. Do you get... How do you believe that? And fossils, by the way, are the leftover shapes, right? They're not the actual bone. However, in dinosaur bones being this thick, or we're seeing flesh, actual flesh. Anyway, that's another whole thing. Okay, so I think I've gone long enough. Oh, here, let me go back to this one. Microevolution, direct observation. Okay, this is ours. Creation science gets this. We claim this 3,800 years ago. We get it. And I wish every creation scientist would be a bully and say, screw you, F you, evolutionists, you don't get this. We get it. Because Genesis 30, Jacob does this, breeds different sheep. This is exactly what we see. This is exactly what's going on here. It's still mosquitoes. Whatever you spray them with, it's still mosquitoes. Whatever you kill them. Same with the superbugs, super viruses, or super bacteria. Whatever it is, still the same thing. And remember, evolutionists have tried. They've tried 30,000 generations of bacteria. They tried to create a new thing. They blasted it. They did all kinds of things with this bacteria that is the equivalent of 30,000 generations because they did it over time. And bacteria breed very quickly. 30 is equivalent to 30,000 generations of humans. They tried to create something. They kept mutating it and zapping it. Like I said, couldn't do it. Same with fruit flies. Couldn't do it. Made fruit flies. Made a lot of messed up fruit flies, but couldn't create a new kind. For God's sakes, people. For God's sakes. Figure it out, dudes. Figure it out. It is amazing, this lie, this evolution lie that's so, I guess this proves Satan exists. Because this is an incredible lie. This really is. It's just a lie. And stop believing in it. Stop believing in this crap. And it's so myth upon myth, you guys. Professing to be wise, you create these myths upon myth. You get ticked off and you just create these lies and you just wallow in these lies. And yeah, it's pathetic. But creation science is awesome. It is freaking awesome. God made this. Wow. Look at that. The folds in the skin. Whoa. So I can fold my skin easily. It's formed up like that. It just forms up like that because, I guess we're not a baby. But the skin knows to do that. Knows to have it ready and prepared. And it's just amazing. Now I got to take care of it. Or go get me some ham and eggs. All right, that's enough.